Be still a moment, my child. Yes, you. The one the world has stopped looking at. The one who almost scrolled past, thinking, these things are for younger people. Stay. Do not go yet. Of all the people I could be speaking to tonight, I chose to come and sit with you. I know what the house sounds like now. I know how the quiet comes in around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, when the light goes long and gold across the floor, and the day begins folding itself up with nothing left in it. I know that the clock on the wall has gotten louder over the years, not because the clock changed, but because everything around it went silent. I know about the kettle that boils for one. I know that some evenings you turn on the television not to watch it, but to hear another human voice in the room. You did not find me here by accident. I led you here, to this quiet hour, because you have been asking a question, not out loud. You are too dignified for that. But underneath everything, in the place where the truest prayers live, you have been asking, does anyone still see me? Does anyone still need me? Lord, is there anything left of my life, or am I just waiting now? Stay with me a little while, beloved, because I have been waiting a long time to answer that question, and tonight you finally sat still long enough to hear it. What I am going to say to you will not make the phone ring tomorrow morning, but it will change what the silence means. And when the silence changes its meaning, my child, the whole house changes with it. Take a breath, settle into the chair. We have time, you and I. That is one thing we have plenty of. Now, let me show you what I have seen, because I have been in that house with you every single day. I have seen the telephone, the way it lies face down on the table, and the way you turn it over casually. You tell yourself, just checking the time. But I know what you are checking. I have watched you look at the last message from your son. 2 words, sent last Tuesday. Doing fine. I have watched you read it more times than you would ever admit. The way a person rereads a letter, trying to wring one more drop out of it. I have seen you start to type something back, 3 different beginnings, and delete all 3, because you did not want to bother him. He is so busy. They are all so busy. And so you set the phone down again, face down, and told yourself that no news is good news, and went to water the plants that do not need watering. My child, I saw that. I saw every deleted message. I want you to know that not one of them disappeared. I read them all. I have sat with you at the table, the big one, the one with 6 chairs, the one that used to disappear under serving dishes and elbows and somebody's homework and somebody's argument about nothing. Now you cook small, and it is still too much. You eat at one corner of it with 5 empty chairs keeping you company, and you have noticed something no one warned you about, the sound of your own spoon against the bowl. It never used to be audible. There was always too much life in the room to hear it. Now it rings like a little bell announcing to the whole house that you are eating alone again. Some evenings you find yourself eating standing up at the counter instead, and you could not say why, but I can. It is because the table remembers, and some nights you cannot bear to sit inside the memory. I know. I was at that table for every birthday, every burned roast, every grace said over folded little hands. I have not left it. I sit with you at that corner now, every evening, whether you feel me there or not. And I have walked beside you out in the world, in the places where you learned a new kind of loneliness, the kind that happens in a crowd. I was with you at the pharmacy, when the young man at the counter looked through you to the next customer, talking fast, sliding the bag across without once meeting your eyes, and you stepped out onto the sidewalk, feeling like a piece of furniture the world had finished using. I was with you at church, yes. Even there, when the handshakes came warm but brief, when the conversations closed up around younger circles, and you stood, holding your coffee in a fellowship hall full of people, more alone than you were in your kitchen. I have counted the days, you have not, but I have. The days when no one, from morning until night, spoke your name out loud. Your name, the one your mother chose, the one I have written down, my child, in a book that does not lose pages. I have walked the hallway with you, too, past the room, you know the one that still has the old posters, or the sewing things, or the boxes of what used to be somebody's childhood. I have seen you stop at that door, open it for no reason you could explain, stand a moment in the smell of the past, and close it again, very gently, the way you would close it on a sleeping child. The whole house is like that now, isn't it? Full and empty at the same time. Photographs everywhere. Weddings, graduations, babies who are now adults, who are now busy. A house crowded with faces and starved for voices. You live inside the evidence of a full life, and the evidence keeps you company the way a museum keeps its caretaker company, which is to say, it does not. And underneath all of it, dear one, beneath the quiet meals and the silent phone and the door you close gently, there are two fears that have moved in with you. You have never said either of them aloud, so let me say them for you, so that you can hear that I know. The first fear is this, that you are finished, that your usefulness is behind you. You spent a whole life being needed, hands that fixed and cooked and carried and signed and built and held. And one day, without any ceremony, the world stopped asking. The job ended, the children grew, the house went quiet. And now you wake some mornings and lie there a moment, and the day stretches out in front of you with nothing in it that anyone needs. And a voice whispers, "What are you even for now?" You used to keep a calendar. Now you keep track of which day it is by which pills are left in the little plastic box. And you have begun to wonder if the rest of your story is just blank pages. And the second fear walks right behind the first, that you are becoming a burden. I have seen this one too, my child. I have seen you at the kitchen table with the envelopes and the small, careful numbers. The pension that does not stretch the way it used to. The prices that climb while the checks stand still. I saw the week the washing machine broke, and I saw you debating, longer than anyone should have to, whether to mention it to the children, and deciding not to, and washing things by hand for a while, because you would rather have aching hands than be a worry. You who fed them, clothed them, went without so they never had to. You now apologize for needing. You measure your worth against a salary you no longer earn. and the arithmetic comes out smaller every year. And you have started to believe the number. Beloved, put down the pencil. The arithmetic is wrong, and tonight I am going to show you why. First, hear this, and hear it all the way down. You are not alone in that house. You have never once been alone in it. When the last car pulls out of the driveway after a visit and the silence rushes back in like a tide, I am in the silence. When you talk to yourself in the kitchen, narrating the small tasks just to hear a voice, I am listening. And it is not foolishness, my child. Half of what you say to yourself, I receive as prayer. When you lie down at night in a bed that has been half empty for years, or in a room that has only ever known your own breathing, I keep the watch. I do not visit my children. I dwell with them. The world thinks of an old person living alone. I look at that same house, and I see two of us. There has always been two of us. The world has a way of looking past gray hair. I know this. The world is in love with what is new faces, new strength, new noise. But I am not the world, beloved. And I need you to stop expecting my eyes to work like its eyes. The world looks at you and sees what is finished. I look at you and see what has been built. 60, 70, 80 years of my craftsmanship, weathered and proven and nowhere near abandoned. A young tree is a hope. An old tree is a testimony. The world plants its benches under the old ones. And if these words tonight are reaching some place in you that has been quiet for a long time, if the house feels even slightly less empty than it did half an hour ago, then keep this little doorway open. Subscribe the way you would keep a chair pulled out for a friend who promised to come again. There is no hurry in it, and nothing asked of you. Just a way for tomorrow evening to know where to find you. Now come close, my child, because everything I have said so far, I said long ago, and I wrote it down with you in mind. I want to read you my own handwriting. Long ago, through my prophet Isaiah, in the 46th chapter, I spoke to my people about the whole length of a human life, and I chose my words like a parent choosing them, slowly, so that an old ear and a tired heart could not mistake them. I said, "Hearken unto me, you who have been born by me from the belly, who have been carried from the womb, and even to your old age. I am he. And even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear, even I will carry, and will deliver you." Stop on that for a moment. Do not let it go by like a verse on a calendar. Look at what I actually said. I carried you from the womb, before you could do anything for anyone, before you were useful to a single soul. When you were nothing but need wrapped in a blanket. I carried you then, and I did not call you a burden. I called you mine. And now I say, even to your old age, I am he, the same he. I have not changed, beloved. Your strength changed. Your address book changed. Your body changed. I did not. The arms under you at 70 are the same arms that were under you at 7 days old. And notice this, what tense I used. I did not say, I carried you once, and you have been grateful ever since. I said, I will bear, I will carry. The carrying is not your past, my child. The carrying is your present, and the carrying is your future, all the way home. Hoar hairs, white hairs. I named them specifically, so that every time you see yours in the mirror, you would remember. These are not the sign that I am done with you. These are the proof of how long I have already been carrying you, and the promise that I am not putting you down now. And there is more. In the 71st Psalm, there is a prayer, and I want you to listen carefully to whose prayer it is, because this will undo something in you that needs undoing. An old servant of mine, gray-headed, his strength failing, his friends thinning out, prayed these words: "Cast me not off in the time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength faileth." Do you hear it, beloved? Do you hear what that is? That is your prayer, the one you have never quite said in words. The fear of being set aside, of being left, of mattering less every year. Someone felt it 3,000 years ago, felt it exactly the way you feel it at the corner of that table, and prayed it. And here is the part I need you to understand. I did not find that prayer embarrassing. I did not edit it out. I took that trembling, frightened, gray-headed prayer, and I wrote it into my eternal word. I gave it a permanent address in the scriptures, so that every generation of my aging children could open the book and find their own secret fear already written there, already heard, already answered. My child, the thing you were ashamed to feel, I made into scripture. That is how far I am from being ashamed of you. You have been afraid that you are invisible. But a person whose unspoken prayer I wrote down 3,000 years before they prayed it is not invisible. You were anticipated. You were expected. There has been a place set for you in my word since before your grandparents were born. And the old man in that psalm did not stop at his fear. A few breaths later, he found the thing on the other side of the fear, and he prayed again. Now also, when I am old and gray-headed, O God, forsake me not, until I have showed thy strength unto this generation, and thy power to every one that is to come. Until, mark that word, my child. It is the most important word an old saint ever prayed. He did not say, "Keep me alive because I am afraid of the dark." He said, "Keep me because I am not finished. There is a generation coming that has not yet heard what I know, and I have a delivery to make." He looked at his white hair and his failing strength, and he did not see an ending. He saw a commission. And I tell you tonight, leaning close so you cannot mishear me, that commission has your name on it too. But before I hand it to you, let me prove to you what I can do with the years everyone else has stopped counting. Let me tell you about Anna. Her story is written in the 2nd chapter of the Gospel of Luke, and it is short, 3 verses. But I kept it for 2,000 years because I knew that one quiet evening you would need it. Anna was a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Aser. She married young, the way they did. 7 years she had with her husband, 7 years of an ordinary, precious daily life. And then he died, and the long second life began. The scripture says she was a widow of about 84 years. 84, my child. An old, old woman by the time her 3 verses begin. and listened to how she had spent those long decades. It is written, "She departed not from the temple, but served God with fastings and prayers night and day." Now think about what her life looked like from the outside. Truly think about it. Year after year after year, one small elderly widow in the corner of the temple courts. The priests changed, the crowds came and went. Young families streamed past her, carrying their babies and their sacrifices and their futures. Nobody made way for her. Nobody sought her out. If you had asked the important men of Jerusalem to list the significant people of their generation, no one would have said the old widow who prays in the corner. Her days were identical. Her prayers seemed to land in silence. She had no husband, no position, no income worth naming, nothing the world weighs. Decade after decade of what you would call empty days, my child. Days exactly like yours. And then, one ordinary morning, a young couple from the countryside walked into the temple carrying a 40-day-old baby, with the offering of the poor in their hands. And heaven held its breath. Kings had longed to see that child. Prophets had died waiting. The mighty of the earth had no idea he had arrived. And of all the eyes in Jerusalem, of all the eyes in the world, do you know whose eyes I had appointed, prepared, and positioned across 84 years to recognize the Messiah while he was still small enough to carry? Hers. The scripture says she came in that instant. That instant, my child. After 30,000 identical mornings, she was in exactly the right place at the only moment that mattered. And she gave thanks. And then this old, overlooked, written-off widow went and spake of him to all them that looked for redemption in Jerusalem. The first evangelists of my son were not generals or scholars. One of them was an 84-year-old widow whom the world had stopped seeing decades before. Every prayer the world thought was vanishing into the ceiling of that temple, I had caught every single one. Her empty years were not empty. They were an appointment being kept. Now hear me carefully, because I will not put words in my own mouth that my word has not spoken. I am not promising you Anna's moment. I do not announce the particulars of tomorrow. That is not how I comfort my children. And anyone who sells you such promises is not speaking for me. But here is what Anna proves, and this you may take and hold and sleep on tonight. Years that look empty to everyone, including to you, can be full to me. A life the world has finished watching is a life I may just be getting to the best part of. Waiting, when it is waiting with me, is not wasted time. It is positioning. And one thing more from Anna's story, spoken softly, because I know about the envelopes on your table. She was a poor widow, no salary, no standing. By every measure your pension statements use, she had almost nothing, and she was one of the richest souls of her generation. Because the currency of my kingdom was never coin. My child, you have been weighing your worth on a scale that was never mine. You earned for 40 years, 50 years, and now the earning has stopped. And you feel as if your value stopped with it, as if a person becomes less when the paycheck does. Hear your father plainly. Your worth in my eyes was settled before you worked a single day. and it did not retire when you did. The one who has carried you free of charge since the womb has not begun billing you in your old age. I have fed sparrows since the foundation of the world, and I have never once asked what they contribute. You are worth more than many sparrows, and your needs, the real ones, the washing machine, and the rising prices, and the careful small numbers, they are not hidden from me. Bring them to me first, before you bring them to your fear. I have always had more ways to provide than you have ways to worry. So then, the fear said, "You are finished." My word says otherwise, and now I will show you what it says. Because in the 92nd Psalm, I made my people a promise about exactly the season you are in. It is written, "They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing." Still, there is your word, beloved. Still fruit, not remembered fruit, not fruit in the photographs. Fruit now, a different kind than the fruit of your 30s. Slower, deeper, sweeter, the kind that only grows on old branches. The orchard of your life is not closed, my child. It has simply changed crops. And so here is your commission, the until of the old psalmist, handed now to you. When I am old and gray-headed, forsake me not, until I have showed thy strength unto this generation, and thy power to every one that is to come. There is a generation in your family, in your church, on your street, that does not know what you know. They have information, those young ones, oceans of it, but they are starving for what only the old can give. Testimony, evidence, a living witness who can say, "I walked 70 years with God, and here is what I found out." No one else can give them that. No book, no screen, no sermon, only you. So let me give you a path now, not a program. You have outlived 100 programs. Just a few quiet steps, and you may start with the smallest. First, stop waiting for the telephone and become the one who calls. I know, it stings. You feel the calling should come to you. You carried them for decades, and now you must reach first. But pride and loneliness cannot live in the same house, my child. One of them has to move out. Call the son, call the grandchild. They will be startled, and then they will be glad. And call someone else, too. There is another person in your congregation, on your street, sitting at their own too-big table tonight, certain that no one sees them. You know exactly how that feels, which means you, of all people, are qualified to end it for someone. I may be planning to heal 2 lonelinesses with 1 phone call, and yours is the hand I want to dial it. Second, begin the delivery, the until. Write it down or speak it out. How you met me, what I carried you through, what you know now that you did not know at 30. Tell it to a grandchild, a piece at a time. Put it in letters. If your hands are unsteady, say it aloud to the phone and let it record. It does not need to be eloquent. It needs to be true. That testimony is the fruit of your old age, and somewhere down the years, on a hard night you will never see, someone of your blood will pick it up and find me in it. Anna spoke of him to all who would listen. That work has no retirement age. Third, put your body back among my people, gently, at whatever pace it allows. The small group The morning service, the seniors' table, the quiet volunteering, an hour of folding, an hour of rocking babies in the nursery, an hour of praying with someone. Loneliness tells you to wait until you feel like going. Go first. The feeling follows the footsteps. My church is not finished with you, even if some of its handshakes are too quick. Walk in anyway. You are not asking for a favor. You are reporting for duty. And fourth, every morning, before the silence can say anything, you speak first. Stand at the window with your tea and say, "Father, here is today. It looks empty to me. It is not empty to you. What shall we do with it?" That question never retires, my child. A day offered to me has never once been a blank page. I always write something on it, even if it is small, even if you only see what it was much later. Anna could tell you, every one of her 30,000 mornings looked blank. Not one of them was. And before you go tonight, do one small thing for me and for the others. Beneath this message, write two things: how many years I have carried you so far, and one thing from all those years that you still thank me for. 68 years, and the man I married. 75 years, and the morning my daughter was born. 81 years, and that I am still here. Write it, and then read the others. You will find your whole generation gathered there in the comments. My child, all of you, certain you were the only one in a quiet house. All of you wrong. Let the young ones scroll past and be amazed at what faithfulness looks like when it has decades on it. Now the light is going, and I will say the last things slowly, so you can carry them to bed. The world calls you elderly, retired, alone, a pensioner. Those words describe your paperwork, beloved. They have never once described you. Here is what I call you: mine, carried, appointed, still fruitful, the keeper of my testimony, the one I have walked beside for every one of these years and have no intention, none, of setting down now. Your children love you more than their silence tells you. They are carrying the burdens of their own season. And one day, sooner than they think, they will sit at a quiet table of their own and finally understand yours. Be gentle with them in your heart, and be gentle with yourself. You asked, in the place where the truest prayers live, whether anyone still sees you. I see you. I have seen you every day of every year. The deleted messages, the hand washing, the door you closed gently, the name no one spoke aloud. I heard the spoon against the bowl. My child, to you it was the sound of loneliness. To me it was the dinner bell of my beloved. And I came, and I sat with you, and I have never once missed a meal at that table. And even to your old age, I am he. And even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry, and will deliver you. Sleep now, dear one. The house is not empty. It has never been empty. I am here. I have always been here. And tomorrow morning, when the light comes back across the floor, we have work to do, you and I.